Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth, one of the USGs of General Assemblies at NAIMUN.
Hi everyone, my name is Rishma Vora. I'm also a co-USG for GAs at NAIMUN.
Yeah, and we're just going to be going over what is General Assembly Parliamentary Procedure in this section. So, the first thing that usually happens at the start of a General Assembly committee session is roll call. And what roll call is that at the start of each session, the chair will read out, usually in alphabetical order, the countries in their respective committee. And then once your country is called, you say present or present in voting. But just a quick note to make that if you do say present in voting, your delegation is not permitted to abstain on any subsequent votes and can only vote either yes or no.
All right, so the next thing that we would do in debate is to set the agenda. So that first requires opening a speakers list, and that's going to be a motion with a majority vote, so 1/2. And the motion that you would say is motion to open the speakers list for the purpose of setting the agenda. So that will be setting the agenda between topic A and topic B. And then you're going to set the speaking time, which can be anything between 1 to 2 minutes. And that motion requires a simple majority as well to pass. And the motion that you would use to set the speaking time for setting the agenda would be motion to set speaking time at 90 seconds. All right, so once the speakers list is open, debate begins to set the agenda. And once enough speakers have gone, there will be a motion to set the agenda based on either topic A or topic B, whatever the delegate wants. And that motion would look like motion to set the agenda to topic 1, which could be tackling water and sanitation access in Latin America. This also requires a simple majority to pass, but if it fails, topic 2, or the topic that wasn't motioned for, will be discussed first.
Yeah, so now I'm going to be going over yields. So, yields are basically a way for you to handle remaining speaking time. So, let's say that the speaking time was 1 minute and then you finish early and you have 20 seconds left. What a yield does is it basically informs the committee and the chair what you want to do with that remaining 20 seconds. So, they can only be made when delegates are called from the speakers list and must be specified before the delegate begins speaking. And if it isn't specified, the yield is defaulted to the chair. Some examples of yields are the first one, what I was talking about, where you yield your time to the chair. And in this case, the remaining time is unused. And you just don't do anything with the last 20 seconds. The second option is I yield my time to questions, wherein the chair will call on delegates to ask questions, and the speaker can only respond in the amount of time that they have unused, so within 20 seconds if that's the case. And the last option is you yield your time to another country. So Indonesia can yield their 20 seconds left to Malaysia. If Malaysia accepts, Malaysia will then speak for the remaining 20 seconds and they will not be able to yield to another delegate. So you can't double yield. But also, Malaysia has the option to deny this yield. It just depends.
All right, so we talked a little bit about motion. So now we're going to talk about points, which are a little bit different. So the first point you can do is a point of order. And in this case, you're allowed to interrupt the chair while they're talking because it's super important. This would be if you wanted to point out a discrepancy in parliamentary procedure or another delegate's action. So if you feel like an incorrect statement has been made, you can raise a point of order to correct that for the rest of the committee and yourself. And then we have point of personal privilege. So that's something like it's super hot in the room or you need the chair or speaker to speak up. In that case, you can't interrupt the chair or speaker while they're talking. You would need to wait until there's a break so that you can raise that point. And then lastly, there's point of parliamentary inquiry. This again, you cannot interrupt the chair or speaker while they're speaking. And this is to clarify to the dais that a motion was made. So that's to remind them that a motion was made in case they forgot.
Okay, so moderated caucuses, basically what happens kind of during GA debate. So a moderated caucus basically allows the chair to call on countries at their discretion. So, like I said, it happens once the committee is well into debate. And basically, moderated caucuses allow the committee to deviate a bit from the speaker's list and gives an opportunity for other delegates who didn't make it on the speaker's list to make speeches on the topic. So the delegate proposing the caucus, so proposing a caucus is also in the form of a motion, should specify the topic of discussion, the duration, and the speaking time per delegate. So, an example of a motion for a moderated caucus would be motion for a 10-minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking time to discuss the impact of climate change on agricultural sectors. And basically, if you'll vote on that motion, and if that motion passes, then the chair will ask delegates to raise their placards if they wish to speak on this topic. And then that's kind of how the moderated caucus process goes.
So now we're going to talk about unmoderated caucuses. And this allows for the suspension of the rules in formal debate. So basically, whatever parliamentary procedure and formal debate is going on within the committee gets suspended, and it's more of a free for all. And this requires a majority vote to pass. So within an unmod, delegates can leave their seats, walk around the committee, and interact with other delegates and discuss their topics with other delegates freely. And this is usually the time that delegates work together to work on draft resolutions and also to create relationships with other countries within the committee. And in order to motion for an unmod, you do have to specify the length of time that you want the unmod to be for. So that would look like motion for a 10-minute unmoderated caucus. And chairs can rule such a motion out of order depending on the progress of formal debate. So if the chair feels like debate has not progressed enough on a formal level and it's too early to let delegates kind of on their own and work in groups, the chair can say no to that motion and wait for a later time.